No. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Thank you. Give everybody a minute. I had to fix my window lights. I'm going to sit up for a little while and crochet. I crocheted a whole lot this morning. And then I had to stretch my back out. I'm going to try to crochet while I've got some chicken in the oven. I've done laundry. I folded my laundry. I put up some of my laundry. But mostly it's a crochet and let my back heal day. My back is feeling better. I'm overall feeling better. But I still think I'm going to go spend a few days at the farm and hit the rife machine like really hard because ever since I got stung on the 4th of July, my body has been in like a mini flare and having a really hard time getting over anything. So I think that qualifies as I need a booster through the rife machine. So I'm going to go spend time with Mama down on the farm and do some rife treatment. If you don't know what a rife machine is, R-I-F-E, basically uses frequencies to go through the cellular structure because good cells and bad cells have a different structure, and certain frequencies can actually reduce the, eliminate the bad cell structure and bolster the good cell structure. So that's what I'm going to do. My mom has been using one for a long time. My uncle had leukemia. He was in the Army. That's how they found out about this. They got one of the old school giant machines that's ran by computer, so it's not mobile. I have to physically go down there. So I'm going to go use that for a few days. I've talked about it before, and if you go back on my videos, I've shown you the machine in action. My ears are itching. I've shown you the machine in action. And something that I thought, probably at this point where I've been so sick and been in and out of flares with this weather, I should probably need to go and have a few rife days because I've been kind of sick and stuck lately. Also, a lot of y'all ask me if I still get stuff on Temu. Every once in a while I do, if they have something cheap enough. Although, let me tell you my last thing I learned. Sorry, I've got something I'm going to share with you and show you. The last little thing I learned is on Prime Day, if you have a Prime account, you might as well use it. I keep a Prime account so I can send my daughter stuff for free because I don't want to pay shipping because I live in the boonies. When you have Prime Day and Angel Soft is on sale, get up on them big old giant boxes. Have a place to put it. Don't let it overwhelm your house. But get you one of them big old boxes because you'll spend about $4 more than you will on average at Walmart a month, but you will get about 3 times the toilet paper. So you'll get 3 months toilet paper for about $4 more than you spend in a month. Y'all, I'm cheap to a fault. Oh, this is what this is. So I taxidermy fur and hunting memories and wildlife. I could probably charge admission to my house because of it's like a text. Now I gotta find a gigantic frame. I was going to do it in black and white, but the bobcat spots did not show as well. I was going to do like a sepia tone, but the bobcat spots wouldn't show as well. So I thought, well, I'll do it in color. I think it turned out really well, and I paid, I think, like $2.90 for this giant one, which would have been around like $12 or $14 at Walmart, and even more at Walgreens, even more at Canva. So, where you can save money. I learned little tricks and tips along the way to save some money in certain places. But I'm here. The Prime Day toilet paper is the best tip I got for y'all, because you'll literally spend $4 more than you would on a normal month toilet paper, but you'll get about 3 months worth of toilet paper. I'm telling you, it's awesome sauce. Okay, so if anybody wants to know where I got this morning, I got biscuits in his good glasses, his sweater and his arms on, his pants done, and one shoe and lace done. Listen, I'll have to do the other shoe. I tapped out after the first shoe because I needed a nap. But so we like the bag and his cape and the shoe. So we like. So he's coming right along. I really am digging this new little hairstyle. It takes forever, but it just looks so much better. So I think I'm going to stick with it. This hairstyle is a pain in the tuchus, but I'm going to stick with it. So we like a shoe, the bag, and his cape. And yes, I do have more mini violins. I found them on Amazon. So he will be getting a mini violin. And he will be also coming with a doll stand for Janet. Of course, Boom has been done. He's got his beaded wallet, his flippity flops. He's holding his kitty cat. Isn't that cute? He's holding his kitty cat. So Hippie Booma is done. I even gave him the eyelids around his eyes that make him look stoned, just because it was funny. It just struck me as odd, so I did it. I really liked the way this one turned out. I even gave him really long hair. It's the first one I've gave the long hair to, and Janet has had to go through so much financially through the, because she has to pay transfer rates and stuff, bless her heart. So these things do go international. And I felt so bad. And I'm like, well, I'm going to give her some added perks. So I gave her Booma the long, long hair. I think his feet and toes turned out super, super cute. His little flippity flops turned out super, super cute. And of course, he's got his wallet beads on. It's got a little heart at the end. And she chose the beads that Charlie color coded and sent to me. So everybody got to pick their own beads. So I gave her some perks that I don't normally give other people because she has gone through so much to get these little dolls, bless her heart. And I know she loves them. So we are going to do his cape. And I have a variegated yarn that I'm hoping will work for his cape, because it will drape really nice if it will. It is a kind of like a sport weight variegated nature color, and I really want it to work, and I just have to see if I can find the end. So today, yarn barf. I've been picking up on news and stuff, like I do when I get to feeling better. And y'all see the pictures of the storm that happened in Florida on the 17th of July? Oh, thank you, Margaret. I have been working my honey off, I tell you what. But has anybody seen pictures or videos of the storms that happened in Florida on the 17th of July, which kind of freaked a lot of Florida peeps out? I don't know how long we have to make this. So I'm just every once in a while going to have to hold it up over there and see what looks right. I don't have a pattern. I make them all on the fly. That's why none of them turn out the same. I have a base doll pattern, but everything else I wing it with my creativity. Margaret, we're going to have fun. So have y'all seen the pictures and the videos from the Florida storm from 7/17? If you haven't, you can see them almost anywhere. TikTok's a really good place too. There is what looks like a rope tornado in one of the storms, but it looks unlike any rope tornado that I've ever seen on any Storm Chaser channel anywhere in my life. The lightning, it is a purely electrical storm. I mean, it is a purely electrical storm. And it's a little scary, if we're being honest. It's a little scary. So I was trying to watch these videos. Is that going to be enough? I think it will. I was watching these videos, and people that had lived in Florida for like 50 years were legitimately freaked out. Let me see if I can lower this so y'all can see me crochet. I'm wearing a Tom McDonald shirt that's older than the hills, but it's comfortable. So I had on makeup. It was cute this morning. Y'all missed it. Sorry. So there were like people that had lived in Florida for like 50 years that were freaked out by this storm. They'd never seen anything like it. They'd never experienced anything like it. And they're still today, over, about a month later, talking about it, going like, what the crap was that? Because they're like, that was not normal. I'm trying to find as many versions of the video as possible to see, because the lightning, the amount of electrical storms we've been experiencing, especially in my neck of the woods this summer, has been off the freaking hook. And listen, in my lifetime, we've been through an El Nino before. It wasn't like this. So, all you people screaming El Nino, shut up. Shut up. Because that's not the reason. That's not the reason. I can barely read today because my eyes are so bad, but I'm going to try. Yeah, water spouts are tornadoes basically over the ocean. But this one was a rope tornado over land in the clouds. But it was gigantic. Like you normally see the little wispy rope tornadoes above land in the sky. This was huge. 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 And oddly enough, a lot of meteorologists are not saying a peep So I'm like obviously curious now, because normally they'll be like, oh, don't freak out, this was just that. But I really think that they know they can't explain this away. So I'm kind of watching to see if anybody's saying anything about it. Very weird storm. Very weird storm. Now, on to probably my favorite story that I've been following for a while, and I think it's time for y'all to know. Okay, y'all know Fauci, you know, he's just laughable pile of crap at this point. Now, in 2022, he retired after like 40-something years of what he calls civil service. I call it assault and battery, but whatever. Tomatoes. In like the next year, he started a vaccine company, and I think it's called the Vaccine Company, the Vax Company. I think that's actually the name of it, with 2 other people that left government that worked in the same realm, and they all, the 3 of them, created this vaccine company, the Vax Company. They were awarded some kind of award, hence the verb, that won them. You can find where $28 million was awarded, but it set up to like 49 million, but there's only like 28 million you can actually account for if you go to try to find it. So they were awarded $28 million. Now listen, they don't have any products, they don't have any testing, they don't have any market share, they don't have any sponsors. I can't find any information. Does it exist? I don't know. I can't find it. I can't tell you what they do. Now, the name of the company, the Vax Company, would imply that they do something with vaccines. I cannot find a mission statement, anything. I don't know what they do. Don't know if they sell. I don't know. I'm just saying it's very curious, because then this company that was like 2 years old is going to be acquired by this super rich man for $1.55 billion. And I still can't figure out what they do, what they sell, what's going on. But it's 3 government people. One lady's got a really funny name, like Ledger's Board or Ledger, something like that. Anthony Fauci, that a girl, and someone else, and they created the Vax Company, the Vaccine Company. Were awarded up to $49 million through like some kind of government award or something. I can only find 28 that's accounted for, that was given to them physically. But then less than 2 years, when I can't find anything they've done, a product, an idea, a mission statement, nothing. Now it's going to be bought for $1.55 billion. It said it was created in Delaware, although the only P.O. box noted for the company is mixed up, because it says it's physical address, but then it shows up as a P.O. box, but then they are talking about they're in California, but it says it was created in Delaware. It's all very confusing, which I think is the point. I think it's the point. The stuff coming out right now, and especially all this fungus fear and stuff like that, if we were to actually start talking about everything in our biome that we should fear, we would never be able to stop. We would be so busy talking for years about everything there is to fear, as far as, the things that live with us and amongst us that could take us down. We would never be able to stop talking. And I think they really amp up, especially since the Smith-Mundt Act was kind of repealed, augmented in 2012, that you can basically propagandize U.S. citizens. We have to kind of question everything. That's why when I heard about Fauci that had, retired and then created this Vax Company, I thought, what the crap? That was a flop, Mr. Fauci. I'm sorry, but your whole time in government was a failure flop. If anyone really looks into it, all you did was sit on your hands so you could make money while people acquired strange illnesses that you were not technically afraid of, and you wanted patents for. I mean, that's his whole show right there in 5 seconds. So I don't know. But him and two other people that immediately left the government started this, and like within a year was awarded up to $49 million. You can see where 28 million was doled out to them. And now it's set to be bought for 1.5 billion. I can't find anything that it does, anything that it is part of, market share, nothing. But it's already worth 1.55 billion. And it says it's a physical address. It was made and it was created in Delaware, and it gives a physical address, which actually ended up being a PO box. But then it says it's in California. It's confusing, which I think is the whole. It is the whole spiel. It's supposed to be confusing so that we can't follow the trail. And at this point, I just hey, USAID is dead, so they're going to have to get creative, and I think this may be a creative manifestation of what is to come since we kapushed USAID, and we're going to have to become very curious citizens. And so I'm going to keep looking in on this and see if I can figure this out, because at the moment it just seems like a fictitious company. It seems like a laundromat. You get what I'm saying? You feel me? You dig? That's what it seems like to me, a laundromat. We washing some money. That's what it feels like to me. Like the Golden Globe's not a real award. Yeah, I think it's just a money avenue. It's a financial vortex. I've never been lucky enough to see one of them, y'all. I need a nap so bad, but I've got chicken in the oven, so nap time's gonna have to wait till after I work on this for a minute and let my chicken cook. Crap, because I'm really tired, but that's okay. I've done more today than I've done in probably 5 days, and I felt a little bit better. My eyes are having an absolute crap day. My back is mending. I can confidently say now I've been in flare. I just did not know it. I couldn't tell until I started coming out of flare and I started having symptoms. I was like, oh, I've been in flare. I thought I just really jacked my body up my back up or something. But I've been in flare. Now I'm getting other flare symptoms. They're starting to recede. My lymph nodes are so swollen, and I've got a lot of water coming off of me. And I'm swollen like I normally get with flares, and I've got all the skin weird colorizations. And it must have been, that rib that I have that the muscles like to pull and bend my rib. It must have been that. That's what it felt like anyway. And now that it has released, the muscles have released, it's started. I just feel really stove up now. So I'm hoping I'm on the mend, because I have felt like crap and had migraines for a while now, and I'm really kind of over it. So whoever has my remote can put it down. The fun is over. I'm over it. On a positive note, I've told y'all that nowhere else in my county has Greek yogurt. Well, the only place that has it is a little side store, and it's like almost $8 for what is $3.24 at Walmart. The other grocery store does not have Greek yogurt. Why on earth, at this day and age, do you not have Greek yogurt? I have questions. I have concerns. So I had to order Greek yogurt from Walmart. And David has been busy today, and I felt like trash. My eyes have been horrible, and I was like, I'll just have it delivered. I'm not going to worry about it. Hi, Daisy. Is it Daisy? Yes, Daisy. I'm about blind today, Daisy. I apologize. So I ordered my Greek yogurt, and a guy brought it from Walmart. Of course, it's Country Bumpkins around here delivering for Country Bumpkins. I take comfort that. Isn't that going to be pretty? It's going to be like a camp. That's going to be pretty. And it's going to drape really nicely. It's not going to be as stiff as the other one. It's going to take me longer to do because it's a finer weight yarn. The things we compromise on because, we get overly zealous with our art. That's okay, though. I think it's going to be prettier, so I'm going to do it. I'm committed to Janet. This is the thing. When I make something for y'all, I get so committed. I'm not even joking. I get so committed. Like, your name is being spoken multiple times in my house that week, and what you will like or won't like. And if I've done a good enough job, and yeah, I'm one of those people. I get terribly committed. Anyway, He brought me my Greek yogurt. I met him on the steps, so I wouldn't try to come up the steps and then go down the steps. I said, here, you just pass them off to me. And he said, I'm tired. He said, every time I leave Walmart, I'm tired. And I said, well, you know why, don't you? Thinking I was fixing to like bestow my knowledge upon someone. He knew. He's like, well, yeah. He's like, you know, they harvest energy while you're there, right? I said, oh my God, you're like the only other person I've ever talked to that has known that. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I get curious about stuff like that. So we had a nice little chit chat on the porch. And he's like, literally, he's like, I feel like crap every time I leave that store. He's like, this is how I make my living. He said, honestly, with the way the world's going, he said, we just going to feel like crap everywhere. He said, because pretty soon, he said, they're going to be able to reach you everywhere. And I was like, I found my people. So we are now Facebook friends. Which is a whole other conspiracy to talk about. But anyway, I was just happy that somebody knew. Yeah, it's got like a brown, it's kind of like a moss colors mixed in. It's so pretty. I can't even see, Margaret, I cannot even see what that little thing is supposed to be. That's how blind I am today. Graves' disease. I'm hoping now since I'm perking up, my eyes will perk up. Thank God that I pretty much can feel my way through crochet. We're just going to say that. Thank the Lord I can pretty much feel my way through crochet. So yeah, that is that was a new one to actually run into somebody that actually knew something. Like I was like, yes. So listen, guys and gals, the word's getting out. People are talking. People are talking. Oh, also for the next time that they do like the paranormal stories on Booma's channel, is anybody from Kentucky and has heard of like the Edmonton, Kentucky, and then the I think it's the Pike County, Kentucky. They call them the boogers. It's not Bigfoot. It's like the little white people, the little short white people with big eyes that come out and harass people and like knock on windows and like are terribly interested in people's children. There is a documentary called Hellier, Hellier, and it's about a place in Kentucky. And these people get requests to go and research something that is scaring a family. And like the family moves finally and just dips out of everything. And they're like, if you want to go and research, that's fine, but we left. So peace out. I want to say, well, a lot of people are saying it's probably big old, owls too, because a lot of people move there and don't know. But here's where my questions come up on. The two places where they're linked, the cave system kind of connects. So it's got my interest perked. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more there. Mostly also because of the tracks they've been finding that are very strange. I made a misclick. Hang on. They're very strange. It almost looks like emu tracks without the nail, but with like human fingerprint ridges and stuff. A lot of people think they are seeing owls. And, owls get misidentified all the time. And I've told y'all about that giant one that I seen doing a home visit one day in the back 40 that was gigantic, looked like a very chunky kindergartner sitting on the barn when it landed. That thing scared me. The Chihuahua ran to the porch like, here it comes. So that thing has been haunting that area for a while. But I've heard some different renditions of it lately because, it was just kind of shut down when it came out. But I've heard some different renditions lately, and apparently there have been some current issues going on again of people that have lived there their whole life. And people that have lived there their whole life that talk like me and act like me. Normally they can identify the wildlife. Have I got a knot? No, okay. And a lot of them are saying, oh crap, it's time again. Like cicadas, they come every so many years. So that's perked my interest. So I'm going to start looking into that just for pure entertainment because you know how I am. I'm strange. And I thought maybe if somebody else wanted to talk about it, they might want to kind of bring this up on the paranormal thing and see if anybody else knew about it and had heard any of the newer like contact stories that's been going around, especially about the people that have lived there their whole life, that are like, you know, we know what things are around here, and it ain't nothing like that. So interested to see if anybody else knows anything on that story. The great horned owls are eating turkeys. I'd say an owl, whatever it can, about like an eagle, whatever it can pick up, it can eat. Whatever they can, an eagle, whatever they can pack off, they will eat. Because we have them that migrate and have a nest down here close to Del Holla, and they cross over around Thanksgiving every year when they're going back to their nest. And they know that David traps, and you know, trapping season starts about that time of the year. And if it's cold and David gets a few animals, he will cape them out and kind of just do a preliminary flesh job on them, salt them, roll them up, and freeze them. And then the next morning, if it's cold enough, he'll leave the carcasses until he'll take them out when they're frozen, because they're easier for him to handle when they're frozen. They're not as icky when they're frozen. And if the eagles see a carcass, you know, they check their house now. We're on the tour, apparently. They will come by and check the house for, you know, carcasses. And I had an eagle in my backyard. It looked like a Labrador Retriever. I heard a big ka-ching on the tin roof, and I thought, what the heck is that? And I was thinking it's probably an owl. And went out the back door, and there was a breeding pair of eagles, and they were in the backyard. One had tried to land on the house and then decided to give it up and join the other back by the fur shed. And they were attempting to pack off a 35-pound beaver carcass, and they got quite a ways with it, to the point where I had to tell David's down by the point of the fence where the two sides meet. They dropped it and couldn't get amongst the trees to get it back out. I was amazed. I just watched, because that was not something I could say, shoo, go away to. I purely believe they would have attacked. Very impressive bird. Very impressive bird. And I was just like, dang. I mean, it was a pretty big knot. Pretty big knot. And I wish people would start to understand how to tell domestic from feral. That's one of the things around here. People come up here and they run up on somebody's loose hog, somebody's loose Duroc hog in the woods, because people will turn their hogs loose in remote areas to let them roam and then go out and pull them up into the ear and butcher them. And they go, I saw a big blah, blah, blah pounder, and it's got a big scoop and floppy. I'm like, that is a domesticated swine, sir. You know, we have some mixed stuff around here too, but that was obviously a domesticated pig. And, you know, a wild hog, especially the Russian boar, that a lot of them have been bought by hunting lodges and got loose. And they kind of hang to themselves a lot. Like, I think maybe they're racist. Maybe they are. I don't know. But they will kind of hang by themselves. And you can tell by the skull, a more wild hog will have almost a straight skull, and a domestic swan will have a big dip. And, of course, wild hogs are normally smaller, although Big South Fork grows some monsters, I'm just going to say. And it's because those wild Russian hogs that were brought over by these big hunting lodges, they got loose because the hunting lodges did not have USDA-approved fencing, which still makes me mad. And then they interbred with everything. So when you get out in Big South Fork, they say monster hogs, because a lot of these hunting lodges that are on the outskirts of Big South Fork, and these big ranch farm style places, they would buy the big high dollar breeding males and breed their own wild Russian hogs for their hunting lodges. But they would be lazy on their fencing or not maybe maintain it like they should. And since they were breeding their own, they didn't care if a couple got loose. But let me tell you what, the reproductive rate of hogs, you should have cared, people, because they ruin so much land. And we just cannot afford to have them loose in the numbers that they are here. So that's why a lot of people here go out and they eat the wild hog. They harvest and eat the wild hog. Number one, it saves a lot of land in the process. Number two, it feeds a lot of families. And tonight, David is actually trying to find, he's had a bunch of hogs come up, and he's been kind of monitoring their movement, and he's lost them since his last weather system came through. So he is out tonight doing the holy trifecta of trail cams on his satellite thing, and monitoring from one of his shooting houses, trying to see where they're traveling and where he's lost them, because we've got a family that needs meat. So that's why I'm sitting at home making chicken, and he's out having fun. I don't get to have fun no more. Every time I try to have fun, I end up stove up or in a flare in the hospital. I have give up. I got to go bear hunting a couple years ago. I had a solid good 7 weeks that year. This year's been a crapshoot. We'll just say that. Been an absolute crapshoot. I have years like that though, and I think it's because I've not maintained my physical therapy like I should have, and that's on me. I need to do it. But also, I have a really awesome physical therapist, and I miss her. And I think it may be time to bring her back in and get my butt in gear. So, may have to have that conversation, because I've noticed, especially with where my thyroid has been messed up, and I've been on all the thyroid medicines that's causing me to gain weight again. I'm still smaller than I was, but I've still gained weight I need to get off. But it has started to inhibit my knee and hip abilities again. So I need my Yoda physical therapist back. She also will yell at me if I need to be yelled at. I need her back. Oh yeah, I see that's the thing about Florida. I don't think I would like is I don't really care for giant birds. I don't even like if I'm fishing on a pond and a big old heron or a crane. I don't enjoy seeing them. I'm like, go away. I just don't like big birds. I don't care for them. I respect the heck out of them. I just don't care for them. And I don't like big birds because then things fall from the sky. I mowed under apple trees one time and knocked a snake into my lap. And let me tell you what, I come off that mower and run across that orchard like a Jesus lizard that runs on water. The mower was still going because we had it redneck wired where it would stay going. I had to jump back on that thing and stop it. But I left it the second the snake touched me. I was like, no, Lord, I'm leaving. And I shook every tree before I mowed the rest of the orchard, too. That was not enjoyable. The ubu. What is it? See, I might know about these, but I don't know like their official names. I've seen a lot of strange things in Appalachia, so I have an open mind. I've been in the woods a lot, a lot of my life has been spent in the woods, hunting and ginsenging and digging root and hunt. We had a hunting lodge. I did a lot of recovery for the hunting lodges, and I was just an outside gal until my neuromuscular disorder. Trail riding, God, I've been in wilderness spots trail riding probably that I should never have been in, but I trusted my horse. I had good horses. But even I've seen stuff that I can't explain. And I have to sit on it and think, because it's like I've run across about everything you run across in this part of the world. And I've run up and had moments happen where I've been like, I don't know what the crap that was. I just kind of walk away from it going, eh. Hey, Charlie, we're talking about the booger people from Kentucky that some people think are owls, but they're starting to see a resurgence of them. And funny thing is they show up on either side of the big cave networks in Kentucky. So it's kind of funny. And then when I was talking about my fear of the giant birds, especially the eagles that like to come through here. And we're on the eagle tour since, David starts in November, starts trapping. And they like to come by and see if there's any carcasses. Because when it gets cold, David will let them freeze overnight before he hauls them off because they're easier, they're less messy to handle. I have seen eagles try to pack off like a 35-pound beaver, and they made it pretty far. Like they dropped it at the corner of the fence where the fences meet in the forest, and they couldn't get down in the trees to get it back up and get their wingspan going to get, And I had to tell David, you're going to have to go down there and get that. He had to pack that poor thing out of 2 forests. Bless his heart. But I've been renewed interest since there's been some new people coming out, because it was like somebody that moved to Kentucky was talking about it, and I was like, well, okay, well, they may not have known all of the wildlife, but now people are coming out that have lived there their whole life saying, oh yeah, I saw these as kids, now my kids are starting to see them, we're terrified and we would like to know what's going on. So that piqued my interest, because I've lived in this area almost 50 years, and I've had some crap happen, and I've been like, what? So when people that live there like that long tell me that, I'm like, okay, I'll listen. I'll listen. Oh, I haven't. Maybe I'm behind on. I don't know about that one yet. I may have to look into that, Margaret. I mean, I've been in the woods and been like, that sound or something, it doesn't belong here. And even like the horses I've had with me are being like, and I've been like, yo, you feel that too, huh? Okay, well, let's just go the other way. So I'm open to listen to people that have, been in predicaments and been like, don't know what that was. Because I've been in predicaments like that too. I'm trying to crochet these in the smaller stitch so that it won't snag as bad, but I have to feel it because my eyes are crap today. Absolute crap. And I'm trying to find an audio book library that won't break the bank, because I've given up on my glasses. I've even given up on enlarging the print. I'm going to have to let people read crap to me. It's frustrating. But they all want to break the bank. If I could see, I guess I should start reading hillbilly autobiographies or something. But I can't see, so I guess I can't. Well, okay, hang on. Frisbee golf and pickleball. I know nothing about either of those things. Hey, Sal. I'm working on a biscuits cape out of a much finer yarn, and I may second think this and go back to a thicker one so it goes quicker, but I really like the pattern on this finer yarn, and I'm going to like the drape. But I may kick my butt and say, no, too much. You bit off too much. And then it may be something I have to keep and just work on every little bit, and then eventually gift it to one of the biscuit stalls that I make. I don't know. I'm working with a 3 hook, and I thought that would speed it up, because normally with these dolls I work with a 2 or 2.5. We ain't going so fast though. Oh, well, see, I've heard Charlie. What do they call them around here? They don't call them Slenderman around here. They call them Flip. I see the most famous picture of them from my area. I call them creepers, but they kind of glowy, really tall, white. There's been some stuff caught on trail cameras that make you go, huh? So when people that live in areas that have been out, outdoorsmen, they have questions. I kind of listen. David finally has experienced a few things where he's come home and been like, I don't really know what happened today. And I've been like, I was like, I guess the Bigfoots thought they saw their cousin Dave, because my husband is wearing coveralls. I tell him to wear a orange hat or an orange boggin, because he is barrel chested and big shouldered and just a big guy, and he looks, when his darker coveralls, he looks like a big old Bigfoot. And I'm like, put an orange boggin on your head, somebody's gonna pick you off. I said maybe they because he caught 3 Cody. He did a triple snare, which he thought would be successful. He had never tried to do it. He tried doubles before. He tried triple. He had seen a lot of, they had been like almost forced through a certain area, and he caught onto it. And I did not like the area, because when he started driving down the hill, I said, it's got water on one side. The only way out is back up the hill, and somebody could ambush you here really, really good. And like my skin crawled. I think of that. when I'm out. David doesn't think like that. He thinks he's top predator. I'm like, no, I'm prey. I think like that. And but lo and behold, he went out the next morning and he had all three. He had coyotes in all three traps. And as he dispatched the coyotes, every time he dispatched one, and then he said I'd get it out of the snare, and as soon as I'd pick it up and hold it up, he said I'd hear a wood knock, a big wood knock. He said it was close. He said the first time I thought maybe one of the cows had just knocked something over and it hit one of the posts on the barn or something, and it just echoed funny down in that hole. He said, and I picked up the second one and it done it again. He said he said I kind of froze for a minute midway, trying to see if it, and he said, but as soon as I picked that thing up off the ground, another wood knock. And he said, I'm beginning to question. And I was like, okay, well, if you go to that side of the farm from now on, take your brother. But he just wanders wherever he wants to. He'll go out and sit in the middle of the night. He don't care. He's got a thermal scope on his gun, so he can kind of see whatever's coming at him. But I don't know. I like to create barriers, boundaries, hidey holes when I go places, so that I feel like I'm perched and maybe going to surprise them instead of them surprising me. But when you go ginsenging, you're just on the side of a hill hanging on for dear life looking for very expensive roots and kind of out there. And that's when we've had one of our weirder experiences where something bipedal was walking on the ridge above us. We had heard it for probably 45 minutes. I thought, oh God, we've wandered far enough in the woods. We've got somebody's pot patch up here on the edge of a bluff somewhere. We're fixing to all die. And David's the only one that had the pistol. I had a big digger. And I was like, you go up there and look. And he was busy digging. And he was like, I just didn't care to know what it was. Excuse me, sir, I want to know. I have an inquiring mind. And so we were fussing on the bench, and I was going, you look. And he was like, no. And I was like, you give me pee-pee. And he's like, no. And so I finally, when you work a bench, you work it like this. You go up the whole bluff. We got to the top. I grabbed onto some saplings, and the next time I heard it walking, I popped up like a whack-a-mole and looked and couldn't see a thing. Couldn't see a disturbance in the leaves. Couldn't see a flipping thing. And I had my little head pulled up over the edge of the bluff, and I was like, it should be like right there. I duck back down, and I look at David, and I'm like, I know. And he, he's still over there looking, doing his thing. And then I hear, and I'm like, okay, I let it go on for a little while longer. And I'm like, I'm going to see what it is this time, by golly. I jump back up like another little whack-a-mole. Nothing. I am literally perplexed. I've been in the woods since I was little. I've coon hunted all over this county with my brother and my dad. Deer hunted, hog hunted, everywhere. And I was like, what the crap? Because I had actually cut the horse trails that joined up to this bluff for years. For like almost 4 years, I cut the horse trails because it was like 12,000 acres that we had to cut trails on. And so I knew this land, but I was like, I couldn't identify what I was hearing and why I couldn't see what I was hearing loud enough that it should have been right there in front of me. It made me really mad, actually. It kind of irritated. I don't like to be made a fool of. So if I think something's made a fool of me, I get kind of irritated. And so I ducked back down again, and sure enough, within just a couple minutes, here it goes again. And that time, David's looking at me like, something's playing with you, And I was like, I know, and I don't like it. And I popped back up the last time, like a little whack-a-mole again, whoop. And I'm getting kind of tired of hanging on to these saplings on this bluff, At this point, I'm losing interest in the whole thing, but I know I look hilarious. And all of a sudden, I had the biggest urge to just belly laugh. And me and David both started snickering, just giggling. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and he goes, I think it's time to get out of here. We had to walk back out. We walked the whole way back out. We finally made it back up to where the ridges joined and got on an old logging road. And where two logging roads join, there was a big waller in the middle. Now there was an old road, but it's like a sand clay road. So there was a waller in the middle, but there's like 6-7 foot of sand clay around the waller. So that type of consistency holds tracks really good for a really long time. And so we waddle up to that, with our bags and all our ginseng gear on, because you're gone all day when you ginseng. And we waddled up to that thing. We were looking because there was coarse hair on the edge of the waller. So we were thinking, big hog's been wallering in here. We could not find a track anywhere, though, where a hog got in and out. A hog that size would have left a big, deep track. There wasn't a track nowhere. You couldn't find nothing leading, like nothing around that dirt, around that waller. And we just kind of looked at each other like, that's not possible. Like, obviously something has been in here. And it did not just float away. And this type of ground would hold those, it would hold those tracks a long time. And he looked at me, he's like, let's pick it up. So, and we got right almost back to the truck. And we had been walking, like we were coming this way, going back to the truck. But over here in the woods, a hog was jumped. And it ran straight toward us. And then when it saw us, it deflected and ran the other way. So whatever jumped it had been paralleling us. Because that hog had got jumped, it was scared by it, running at us. Then it saw us, was like, ah! And it, went the other way again. So one of the weirder experiences I've had. There's my heifer. My chat is. You got alive with me, Christy. Sabrina, we're talking about when I was out ginsenging that one time, and we had that, I call it the whack-a-mole event, and then we saw that big waller coming out, but there was no tracks around it. It was just a weird day overall. I don't like, my brother went hunting there. He I won't say owned, he orchestrated, he managed a hunt club in that area, because it's very, it took a hard person to go in there and deal with the land. It was harsh. It was a rough spot. And him, my cousin, and my dad deer hunted in there one year. And they decided when they deer hunted that they'd go deeper into the forest on a ridge line. They'd all hunt the same ridge line, but they'd go deeper in by age. So my brother being the youngest would go the farthest in. So they started early that morning because Matthew wanted to be settled before sun came up. He said he felt weird walking in, but my brother he was by a hunting magazine called a stump of a man. That's pretty good. He's as broad as he is tall and just looks mean. I shared some pictures of him on my video the other day. I would not make him mad. Normally people don't want to make him mad. He had hiked in, and he was at the farthest end of the ridge. And my cousin was about halfway in. He was between Matthew and Dad's age, and then Dad was the closest to the truck. They did the age thing, which was normal in my family. And right after dawn, there was something down in the laurels moving around in the trees down there, and Matthew could not identify it. He just knew something was moving. And he that when the woods wake up, things start moving, and sometimes it takes you a minute to figure out what all's going on. And squirrels can cut the biggest shines, to be the smallest things. You kind of have to sit there and wait to see what walks out sometimes. And he said it kept getting closer and closer, coming to the point where he was up on this ridge where it funneled to. And he saw, all of a sudden, he just saw just a big, dense body. But he said, I couldn't really make out. I could just see it moving. And he said it finally squared up to him and stood up. And my brother, who was armed to the hilt, decided he would go around the tree slowly and slowly make his way out of the woods. And he got out of the woods, and when he got to the truck, there was my cousin. And my cousin was about as white as my brother was. And my brother said, why are you out here? Why ain't you at your spot? And my cousin goes, why ain't you at your spot? And Matthew goes, well, I'm not sure. Everyone will be back in these woods. And And then my cousin's like, you've seen it too. So apparently it had seen my cousin, kind of boogered him, and then went down the ridge and I guess boogered my brother, trying to tell him, get out, you know. Well, they had to honk the horn and make the biggest ruckus to try to get Dad out of the woods. Dad finally came out of the woods. He's like, why are y'all making all this flipping noise? We got hours before we need to, you know, and they were like, we're leaving now. And to my knowledge, my brother never hunted there again, but he was asked to oversee a hunt club, which basically meant lock the gate and on the weekends and make sure that nobody's leaving vehicles and do anything bad on the property. The only thing my brother did was basically that, and on the perimeter of the land put up no trespassing and hunt club signs. He never went in there. And then, but me and David were ginsenging. Like, we went in there, even though I'd heard those stories. We went in there. You hear a lot of stories when you live somewhere like I do. But then when we had that day ginsenging, I was like, huh. But I don't know what, because I'm not going to laugh in the woods. I mean, you just don't make noise to have it echo to God knows where. So I don't know what came over both of us that day wanting to giggle like that, because that's just not us. But that's when David decided we should just get out of there. David don't really run. So I was like, okay, yeah, maybe we should. Watching Sabrina all day. Is your brain tired? Your brain's got to be tired if you've been watching Sabrina all day. Y'all, I may have picked the wrong yarn for something I wanted to get done fairly quickly. But it's so pretty. Let me show you. Let me do a few more stitches and I'll show you what I've got. My ambition sometimes it's like they say, you know, your eyes is bigger than your belly when you go and get too much food. That's how I attack crafts too. Just so you know. Sabrina, have you checked your, has Firewall checked your P.O. box yet to retrieve your biscuits and other doll? My chicken's done. This is what I'm going for the cape for this biscuits. But now listen, this is a sport weight, like a 2 yarn. I wanted it because it was really drapey, but I may have bit off more than I could chew. I think I may have. My alarm's gone off. I'm going to have to get my chicken. You're in central Mississippi? My daughter lives in southern Georgia, almost in the freaking ocean. Every time I go visit and her husband talks, I feel like I need to eat etouffee. Because he's got a really big Louisiana dialect kind of. Like literally every time he starts talking, I'm like, where's the crab bowl? I'm ready. Because that's what it sounds like. And I'm sure when people hear me talk, they're like, where's the frying green maters? Because I get it. You sound like cornbread. With or without sugar. Let me go get my chicken out of the oven. If I can pick it up. My back's been doing better. Let's see if I can hoist my chicken and my roasting pan out of the oven. Hey, Google, stop the alarm. So I can see. Might need to turn on the kitchen light so I can see. Hey. Hang on. I gotta check it. Hey Google, set an alarm for 20 more minutes.
You got it. Your alarm's set for 6:41 p.m.
I think it's mostly done, but I'm gonna give it 20 more minutes. Because I've got veggies in it with it too. Y'all, I'm so sore from this flipping flare I've had. Oh my gosh, my whole body is so sore. Oh yeah, Kentucky is a very Swiss cheesy state because of the cave systems. I mean, anybody that's been through Mammoth Cave and then all the unexplored caves. I mean, literally, if you are in Kentucky, you're standing on Swiss cheese. Not saying my area is much better, but I'm just saying Kentucky is Swiss cheese. David had the best sentence about the flock cameras today because I was explaining that it's a foreigner that owns them and he withholds all of the media that he surveils, and we have to do a metadata request for our own surveillance on our own streets. And David, he goes, "What idiot would give all that trail camera information to somebody that doesn't live here?" And I was like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." That's exactly how simple it is. Like a farmer wouldn't even let somebody, a neighboring farmer see his trail cams to see what bucks and stuff are on his property. But we'll just let a foreigner video record our entire nation. When I say sometimes, I said I was educated, not smart. I would also like to say about our politicians, that they're smart but not educated. I mean, they do stuff, that they think is the biggest bang for their dollar, but they did not put the back work into it to understand how horrifically stupid it was. I think about every politician is roughly like that. Sadly, I've only met a couple, 3 that I really enjoyed their. I was going to say like friendship. I don't think it was friendship. I just enjoyed them being in my area, and getting to know them. Cassadaga, Florida. No, I have now. What goes on there, Margaret? I'm nosy. What goes on there? Or did you just want to hear me say that? Are y'all recording me and then selling my phrases? Somebody said that you can have a job where people just ask you if you have a really thick dialect. They'll just ask you to read certain things or say certain phrases. Now, mind you, some of them might be quite nasty. I'm thinking I have overlooked a gold mine. Are you? Yeah, I have been. What I'm doing is making strings for each doll, so I can get about $3 out of each little jar. That's what I've been doing, so that everybody can kind of get some, so they can go as far as possible. So I'm adding them to the bags, or I made like a little wallet chain off that Booma doll. I'm trying to be kind of creative in the way I put them on there. But then the Sabrina doll that I made her, she just wants some scent so that she can add to it herself. So I was going to send her some of that one too, and just so that she can add hers when she gets it to that doll. I was thinking this was going to be an awesome cape, but I may have to just work on this as I can, and it may end up on a doll in the long run. I may have to go to a thicker yarn to get it done quicker, because where I've been not feeling well, I've been going pretty slow crocheting. I'm not going to lie. My fingers are showing the damage. They're split. They're hurting. And I've been in flare. That's why. And I've been going pretty slow. And now that I'm back up to speed, I'm finally getting caught up. But I know that maybe this sport weight is just a little too thin for the time frame I had allotted myself. I wouldn't do anything like that. Never. Oh my God, never. God, never. I watch that lady, that Crochet and Crumpets channel. She's so funny. We're polar opposites, but I get so tickled with her. Every time something goes wrong in the house, she's like, "Sven, damn it. Why can't you keep the house up? That's what I pay you for." And Sven is apparently her housekeeper that, is always on vacation. I wish I had somebody I could blame for the state of my house currently. It's getting better since I feel better. But, Okay, Charlie. That's fine. I've got several separated out for her already and added to her dolls. And then I got her out some of the ones that she wanted for her Sabrina doll as well. But if you have more that you want sent to her, I don't care to send them. Tom Petty song kind of spooky. I didn't know that, Margaret. I will have to listen. Tom Petty's kind of eerie in his own way, isn't he? He looks like a rat. Don't smack me from wherever you are, Tom Petty, but he does kind of have a rat fink face, you know? But you feel like you've had a happy little court. Well, that's, listen, I can be not a pleasant person at times. Really, honestly. But for the most part, I'm pretty chill. And, I mean, I complain about crap all the time, but I think it's like stuff we all mutually want to complain about. But for the most part, we are just a very happy little group of people that we've kind of formed a family. We take care of each other. We check on each other. We do arts and crafts together. We did a Christmas swap one year. If you trusted somebody enough to do a present swap, we did a craft thing, and then you could create that craft. It was very easy, and do a Christmas swap. And we had several swap Christmas presents that year. You got to choose to contact whoever you trusted. I still got my Christmas present on the wall. I keep it on the wall all the time. Gypsy made it for me. I've got a bunch of Gypsy's artwork on my wall. By the way, keep praying for her. She's still healing from her back surgery. But we're just a family. I don't get out a lot because of my health. I have a neuromuscular disorder, which the last few weeks have been whew. So this is my social time. My neighbor is a porch goose fanatic, and I have bought the outfits and I have crocheted funny things. There is one that's got hair rollers and like an old 80s or 70s robe, and then it's got like a little hair rollers and a cigarette, but it's like you slide it over like a mask so it matches the goose's face you can't see. But it looks like hair rollers and a cigarette. And then the robe has got the hands in the pocket, obviously, but then there's like a coffee mug and some other stuff like hanging from the pocket. So I've been eyeballing that one for my neighbor for Christmas. She made me a sea turtle stepping stone. That was hard to say. I dare you right now to try that. Sea turtle stepping stone. Huh. Then I had to shellac it. No, I didn't even try for that. I actually did shellac it. So I don't know where to put it yet because it's so pretty. I don't want to put it somewhere it's going to get overgrown. So I shellacked my sea turtle stepping stone, but I don't know where to put it. I dare anybody to try that. I'm doing really good after being in flare to say that. Yeah, I have days where you can tell my health is like, or I'll have an interaction where I'm like, you put me back in parole officer mode. Not a good day. So, but I'm pretty chill. It's little porch. I can't even talk now. It's porch goose outfits for your porch goose. You clothe your porch goose to make them look stupid, make people laugh. I got a little frilly like spring summer dress for her one, and she laughed her little hind end off when I got it for her. And then I've made her like little bonnets and stuff for her other ones. She has a bunch of concrete geese along with her porch goose. But I've been looking at the hair rollers and cigarette and robe and coffee mug, and I think there's one that's got a rolling pin with it, and I thought that would be flipping hilarious. So, for like 3 days straight now, her grandkids are visiting her for like 3 days straight now. When the weather clears afternoons, they've had their little crochet animals out playing tea party and picnic with them. It's been very sweet. So when I go out and I check my flowers on the porch and water everything and deadhead my petunias, which I try to do every day just to kind of get out and do something, even if I don't feel good. But they've been very nice and waved at me, and They've been out playing with their crochet animals I gave them. And I was like, those are cute. We have a really hard time communicating because they talk really fast. And even though I was, I worked for that Puerto Rican man for a long time and I can normally hang with the best of them, they lose me sometimes and I have to go slow down. Do not anger the crochet queen. Yeah, I like that. I like the hair rollers. I think it's adorable. I think it's gonna be your Christmas present. I'm not even gonna try to read that turtle rug. I've done said too many tongue twisters. You know what I found the other day, just comically, that I was looking. I wasn't looking for nothing. I was not able to sleep, and so I was seeing if I had any coupons. That's what I do. And seeing if I could find a good deal. But I found, those little things on the sides of your toilet where it bolts in the floor and the caps that you can replace. I found little froggies that once they charge, they glow in the dark. So every time you got the lights on for a few minutes, then they charge and they glow for like an hour. And I'm thinking that would be cute because I'm up and down a lot during the night. And they would be cute just to walk, into my bathroom at 3 a.m. and because I was up an hour ago, see my little glowing frogs. Listen, I find pleasure in the funniest places. And they're only $4.39. Now, will I buy them? I'll have to think about it for a while because I'm cheap. But I'm thinking they're on my radar. Also, by the way, one of David's favorite songs to sing is Britney Spears' On My Radar. Why? Because he doesn't think she sounds like she's saying on my radar. What is my favorite song to sing? Currently at the moment, it is Kia Boy by Professor. If you have thin skin, do not go listen to that. But lots of times when I'm in a funny mood, I like to listen to the Cleverleys. And the Cleverleys, I think they've kind of disbanded or they keep changing, but they got like one or two guys that stay consistent. They've got an old song, Angel, that they did a bluegrass cover of that cracks me up. But they also did a bluegrass cover to Loser by Beck. And I'll break out in the bluegrass version of that every once in a while too, just because it's flipping hilarious. Oh yeah, the geese are a throwback. Yeah, they were all over the neighborhoods when I was little, riding my little banana boat seated bike through the neighborhood. Everybody had one. And I wondered why, but now I'm old and I'm like, I want a porch goose. These unhealthy obsessions. That's when I know that programming is real because I have no estrogen within my body. I have no uterus. I don't take estrogen. I have too much testosterone, I will say that. But to hear me say I want a porch goose, somebody's cooking something up because that did not come out of me. Burn it, my yarn split. Okay, sorry. I don't normally say cute things like that. I don't. I do try to make my house look like Cracker Barrel, but like with animals, taxidermy. Well, I have the Cracker Barrel decor idea. If there's a spot, put something there. How do I dust? I have a little wind machine that I bought for $14. It sounds like a hurricane, but I just plug my ears and let it fly. And that's how I dust. And then I vacuum. It works for me. Black & Decker saved the day. Sally's here. Sally, I've got beans in the oven roasting with my chicken. Yeah, I'm just sitting here long enough to let my chicken cook, and I'm working on this cape for the biscuits doll. I've got a list of a few more that I'm going to try to squeeze in. So if you've talked to me about a doll and I've agreed to it, I'm going to try to like string them over the next little while because I say we, but I may not go. There is a market scheduled for, it was 2 weeks from yesterday, 2 weeks from 2 days ago. Sorry. Get caught up, Elizabeth. David's days off change, and so my weeks change. So the next 12 days or so are going to be possum rally days. because I have no possums, basically. I have none in the price range that I need to have for this event to go with Dave. I think I'm going to try to go because it's indoors, but we will just see how my body hangs the next couple of weeks because my body's been a little bit of a turd. We've been having some talks and we're not jiving. And I'm demanding jurisdiction. We'll see if that happens. I'm belligerent, so is my disorder. Sadly, we share the same behaviors. I'm fixing. I sent you the video, Sally, of the beans because I pulled that one up and it just kept pulling. I sent it to my dad. He goes, "What are you eating?" I said, "It's my beans." I will say they're fun to pick. You really have to look for them. They will hide. It is hide and seek like level 12. Them little suckers can hide. And when I got in with my bowl, I had a little bitty tiny, like literally, I thought it was like an inchworm in a leaf. It was a baby frog. After the lizard fiasco, I lit out to catch that little freaking baby frog, and I got him caught, and I relocated his little butt outside. Was it funny? Apparently so. David was laughing while I was trying to catch the little bitty frog. How I got him in my bowl when I was picking beans, I have no idea. But I think everything's trying to move in with me, and I don't want them to. We just got the lizard evicted, and the little tiny baby frog. And you know how it's hard to catch a big frog. Now imagine it the size of a pencil eraser. I was saying things I'm going to have to pray about with the Lord. But it made me mad. It made me real mad. Where's the Viking Festival? Hey, our first Renaissance Festival, I thought was really going to freak David out. He loved it. Loved it. The man needs to try more things. Like, he had never had spaghetti till we got married. That's how backwards my husband is. He loved the Renaissance Fair. Mostly because people was buying his fur left and right. But also, he just thought it was kind of neat because everybody was doing old school things. He really enjoyed the guy that brought the chain whip. He thought that was pretty cool. I don't play with whips because when I was little, I grabbed the wool whip that I was pretty adept at and liked to split my lip open. So I gave up that a long time ago. But he's got in also with a blacksmith dude that does forging, and he'll like help people forge their own little pocket knives or trinkets to take home from these events, and he's got a good little business going. Really sweet guy. He's got a whole passel load of kids. I think he's got 5 now. And listen, when we go to markets and I know the kids are going to be there, I crochet them all something. So you can imagine how busy I am the week before I know we're going to see them. But he's gotten in really good friends with him. And so we have picked up a few more not average venues, which I have fun with because I fit anywhere. I'm a chameleon. No, I'm not. I'm a stick tight knot. Them things you pack out of the field. I belong anywhere. But David really enjoyed it. And he said, let's try a bigger one. And I was like, okay, but the bigger they get, the weirder they get. So I'm just warning you. Because I will sit there and love every second of it. He might get a little offended or scared. Campbell County, Kentucky. Daggum. I wonder how much of it. That's not super far, but I can't. Off the top of my head, don't know how far the drive would be. I will say that when I showed livestock at the North American International Livestock Expo in Louisville, that was a freaking 5.5 hour drive with like a 40-foot rig. It was not fun. And then to get a cheap hotel, we got the hotel by the UPS airport. You could not sleep because the freaking airplanes are. Not only was there mooing and baying on all the livestock, then there was the air freight airplanes. So that was a whole weekend of just. It's already been that my alarm's already going off again. Lord, I'm in a time loop. It's just zooming by. And I ain't making no progress. This is awfully pretty, and I really want it to be a cape. It just may not be a cape on this biscuit style. Can I wrap my brain around that? because I still have a shoe and a bag to make. Unless I want to send him off with one shoe, which is currently what he only has on. I always try to get David to go throw the axes because he's actually really good at that because he used to be a logger. And he won't do it. And I'm like, but people will take pictures of you and it will be awesome. But because if you've seen my husband, can you imagine him throwing axes? And he won't do it. Won't do it. Save my life. I can no longer throw axes. Like I will be in flare. I will throw something out and be in flare for 3 weeks. I do, however, still throw my knives. I don't do it as often as I like to. I used to be really good at it. I'm now fair to middling. I like throwing knives though. They're fun. They're unexpected. I like unexpected things. It's like David said, somebody ever breaks in our house. He said, don't know what they're going to come, be after. He said, but they sure ain't going to get what they think they're going to get. If you've ever been in my house and seen the little well-placed tactical objects, you would understand. But when you send people to prison, you get prepared. It only takes one person that you pissed off. I tried to have a good rapport with everybody I supervised, but it only takes one person. I gotta go get my chicken out of the oven. I'm literally just ignoring the alarm right now. Y'all do that? If something that can flex a few minutes, you're like, I'm busy. Just keep singing until I get to the end of this row. My microwave is like that, but it gets aggressive. It's like the more it beeps, I don't know if it just grates more on my ears, the noise, or if it actually gets louder. Like that's something I'm actually gonna try to figure out about this model I have, because I think it gets louder because eventually I'm like, would you shut up? I know you're done. And David's like, who are you talking to? And I'm like, the microwave. I listen. I'm alone a lot. I talk to everybody. And since my dog Oscar passed away, I still sing Oscar's song every once in a while. The other day I was in the kitchen. I just broke out going, my little Ludi Po. And I miss that little dog so freaking much. I miss him so much. Luna, I could just check on her every once in a while and send a text. I just miss Oscar so much. Because, it was 13 years of him being my little shadow. So I miss that little dog so much. But I don't know that I need another dog. I'm just so sick lately and so tired. And back and forth. And, of course, then Dad, when I'm at the farm, he's got Dasher and Ruby. And if something ever happens to Mom and Dad, I'll have Dasher. Matthew will have Ruby. Ruby's too much for me. Ruby's 100 pounds. I don't want to. Dasher is my sweet Dash. And I will take Dasher. It's not a problem. She's a kangaroo dog. She's like a kangaroo. Where she runs, she got those big muscles. And she got those blue ghost eyes. But she's my Dash. And I love her. She won't let anybody else love on her. But she just let me love on her. I love that dog. My microwave goes, ding, ding, ding. And I swear it gets more aggressive every time. And until I'm like, shut up. I'm busy. You would like to throw a 8-pound hammer? Wait, that's a song. You know what I broke out singing the other day, Margaret? Nobody had a clue what I was singing. Somebody had told a fib-dib. Total lie. And it was like they had these people hook, line, and sinker. And then they admitted they were lying. And it was in a crowd of country folk. Okay? Relatives and country people. And I cackled and went, I got pig on, I got pig on, I got all pig on. And they just looked at me and I was like, where's your redneck card? Surely, Margaret, you know what that is, right? I gotta go get my chicken. It's gonna start yelling at me soon. Or burn. Probably not burn, though. Okay, shut up. Hey, good. Stop the alarm. Shush. I'm still walking cockeyed. That's my back. I'm gonna be walking cockeyed for a while, I believe. I just pulled my blanket down off my chair. Nobody else knew the song, and I was like, I said something the other day. I said, it's only 2 things that money can't buy. And I waited for a response because they were like talking about old country and folk music. And so I said only two things that money can't buy, and nobody looked at me. All it took was Matt's True Love and Homegrown Tomatoes. Nobody got it, and I was like, had to clutch my invisible pearls. I was appalled. I had to pawn my honor. I wouldn't get much upon mine. Listen, it's going slow. I would probably be like 2/3 of the way done with the thicker yarn, but I will say it's making a very pretty camo cape, and it's going to drape so pretty because it's such a thin. Just do I have the time on the 20 plus hours I already put into these dolls to add 3 more to do a cape? Because I've been with y'all about it, what, an hour and a half? I mean, I found a new miniseries to watch. I just don't know if I'm going to be that invested, though. I had to watch something to match the flow of my crochet mojo to keep me going. This is awfully pretty, though. So whoever's biscuits doll this does end up on, you're lucky. It's very nice yarn. It's very soft yarn, too. It's very nice. It's a very nice yarn. I saw it and thought it would work out pretty, so I bet you it would knit pretty, too. It would knit different, though. I don't knit yet. That is this winter's. We're on task. It's scheduled in a few of us's schedules for the winter. We're going to learn how to knit. We've got somebody that's going to teach us. Oh, I forgot who it was now. Anyway, they'll pop back up because they were invested too. We've got a few of us. We're going to learn how to knit this winter. I've already got my knitting needles and I'm ready to roll. I just have not sequestered the time. But y'all know I have to sit up with this wood stove during the winter, so we're going to do something useful. Well, I don't know if it'll be useful, but we're going to do something that we're going to invest some creative time into. I mean, it's better than sitting there and watching Netflix when you can actually create something and watch Netflix. I don't watch Netflix, actually. I don't like to pay for it because they only have they don't have enough stuff to choose from. So I watch like Tubi and Freebie, and I do have some Prime stuff I like to watch, but YouTube, I get in there and find the really weird, rare documentaries and stuff. I'm a weirdo. One of my favorite things to watch is where those people go out and they tag the great white sharks and they bring them up and they do like a full physical on them, and you get to see how mother freaking big them suckers are. Holy crap. Now, would I ever swim in the ocean? I have before. When I was little, we went to the ocean. I was not impressed. I thought it stunk. But no, at my age now, I would, no. No, thank you. I don't even like to go to Del Hollow knowing there's a sunken city down there. That bothers me. And when it gets really low, you can see the tops of the building still. No, thank you. Willow Grove. Nope, freaks me out. No, it doesn't look right. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. No, thank you, sir. It's not supposed to look like it. If you really think about how much of Tennessee has been flooded, it's really sad. It's quite sad. We flooded some of the best farmland for TVA, and TVA still gets greedy and wants to flood more. TVA is not my favorite people. On the Orange Blossom Special, my papa used to play that on his fiddle. I'm really appalled when I say there's only two things that money can't buy, and nobody can answer that. Dark water at night is very frightening too, but when you look down and there's like a church steeple and an elementary school, and you're like, what the no. When you're in a bass boat, no. It ain't supposed to look like it. It bothers me. It does. It bothers me. And I like to go to Willow Grove because it's got a pretty little tree line where you can float and you can like tie yourself to the tree. You can tie your little floaty to the tree. But if you're going to be out on a bass boat and get out over the town, it creeps me out. Creeps me out. And I had children that were lake babies that wanted to go to the lake every 5 seconds, so I got creeped out often. Quite often. I didn't enjoy it. We'll just say that. I don't mind the water. I don't like to be on the water and see crap like that. We did a jug line that night and caught an alligator gar, and none of us was prepared for that. And like to slip my hands to death getting that thing off the line. Those suckers are sharp. I think I may have overinvested, but I think whoever does get this is going to be gorgeous. Now, if I have a bad night and I can't sleep, I may get up and do this. I don't know. But I'm thinking right now I've overinvested, and I'm going to have to go back to a bigger yarn because I would already have the cape almost done in a bigger yarn. It kind of makes me sad, but I also know I have to pace myself right now because I've gone through a lot. My eyeballs itching. I don't know why. Wish my nose would itch. That means somebody's coming to visit you. Or your hand, you're getting money. That never happens. My eyeball itches all the time. Oh, isn't Oh Brother We're Out There about the Homer's Iliad Odyssey? Why is my brain crooked there? Oh, I had to wash off my eyebrows this morning. I drawed them on and I looked suspicious. I don't know how I got that, but I had to wash them off. I literally draw my I don't know if it was just where I was in a flare, maybe my muscle was tweaked or something, and draw my eyebrows on and looked up and looked like one was like, and I was like, I look like I am fixing to get into something. And I had to wash them off. I have no eyebrows anymore. Y'all know I got pepper sprayed and spent like 5 days in the hospital with chemical pneumonia because I caught the tail end of a flipping little gel riot and got stuck in the room with the pepper spray for 25 minutes on lockdown because the idiots that kept pepper spraying this man that they could have just sat on. Men. And ever since then, I asked for a wet rag at night because my eyes were burning so bad when I was in the hospital. And about 3 a.m. I woke up and I was trying to find my wet rag because my eyes were swelled shut almost. And the nurse came in and she's like, "What are you looking for?" And I'm like, "My wet rag." She's like, "Oh, honey, we got to take that away from you. You've done rubbed off half your eyebrows." And I was like, at that point, I really didn't care though. My eyes were still on fire. Now I care because my eyebrows never really grew back right. I call this one that's got like it's got a piece through it. I call it my gang affiliated eyebrow. It's got like a through it. Got to make the best of it. But like 5 of us from that worked at the jail and me was serving papers, we ended up in the hospital. Okay, thank you for clarifying that, Margaret, because I had, for some reason, it was crooked in my head. You know, those really open-ended books, sometimes I think they were just being giant jackasses. And they knew it. And they're probably still laughing at us trying to figure out what they're all about. I read Beowulf, and Miss Moran asked me what I thought about the book, and I said, somebody's on drugs. That's what I told her. And she just looked at me. She had a rather funny air about her, and she kept her chin up, and she looked very regal, but not in an old, funny way because her head bobbled. And her head bobbled when she was irritated. And so when she asked me what, because normally I had really deep thoughts about books, but I did not about Beowulf. And she was like, because she said my maiden name. She said, "What did you think about the book?" And I was like, somebody's on drugs. And she did that head bobble. And I was like, oh, I ticked her off. But honestly, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I can read into the best of things. But sometimes I just have to sit down and go, you're pulling my leg. Hard. Like a snipe hunt. That whole book was like a snipe hunt. I didn't enjoy that book at all. That's one of those, why did I waste my time on that? I should have just took an F on the test. I go back and have those moments of time where I wasted how many weeks of my life trying to understand that? I should just took an F. And like, I was a straight A girl, but I should have just took an F. Now that I know what my time's worth, I should just took an F. Yeah. Anybody else feel like that's like most of my high school time that I spent? Yeah. Give it a rating, 2 out of 10, wouldn't recommend. It was kind of a waiting period for me because I honestly could have already hacked college, but Mom started me early in school, so they wouldn't let me graduate because I didn't turn 18 till the day of graduation. So they wasn't about to let me graduate early. So I literally went my whole senior year of high school with electives because I had to have one American history, credit that they wouldn't let me take early. I'm still sore-tailed about that one. So I took a bunch of farm electives. Had an enjoyable year, but that kind of cheesed me off. But they wasn't about to let me out of there at, just barely turned 17. So, I did refence the entire school farm my senior year. I'm very proud of that. Still standing. I think I have bitten off more than I could chew, but is that not pretty? Oh, that's so pretty. But it's little. This is like 2 hours work. Y'all wonder why I have a nervous twitch now when I'm doing these dolls. She'll go into these big, long explanations, and then I'll be like, they's pulling her leg. I think some people back then just wanted to sound profound. And so they just got a little mouthy. And, here we are hundreds of years later going, oh, how absolutely, forward thinking. No, it still don't make sense. Don't sit there and just because somebody thinks he's, all high and mighty, it said no, I don't get it. If you have to take 45 words to say what you can say in 3, what is the point? Now, I get colorful at times, but I do it for impact. I don't just drag on for 500 pages, which is what I feel like some of those people did. Socrates. I'm just saying. Just saying. Then people ask me, because I have my psychology degree, what do you think about Sigmund Freud? He was a pervert that liked to write about his perversion. He knew nothing about psychology. He was just trying to justify his own ill intents. And I'm going to die on that hill. Thank you very much. I am firmly planted. I shall not be moved. And a lot more people are coming to that realization. I think my psychology teacher thought I was a little turd, but it's what I think. It's what I'm going to say. As my mother has said, I have no edit or delete button. It just comes out. Which was always great fun for the court stenographer. I miss her. Barb, if you ever see this, I miss you. And your rum cupcakes. Well, she made those rum cupcakes. Oh, yummy. We all smelled like we'd been boozed up, but they were so good. And the alcohol cooked off. But man, they were good. I'd always wait and eat mine after court, though, because I didn't want to walk around smelling like rum. I thought that was tacky. The guys apparently didn't care. Gorgeous, tiny, gonna take forever. I'm gonna have to switch to a 4-weight so I can get her done. Dagnabbit. But I mean, we're getting there. I have made great strides the last 2 days. Yes, he only has one shoe currently, but we've all been there. Okay, I'll do. It takes me about an hour to make the shoe, so chill. I'll get his other shoe here in a little bit, but he's got his sweater on. He's got his bridges. I love his hairdo. That hair took forever, but it looks so good. That's what I'm going to do forever now. I've blushed him. He's got a little bit of tone to him. You can't really tell in this light. I've got his violin to go in his bag. His bag won't take that long, but his cape, shoe cape and bag. And the cape obviously is the biggest thing, obviously. It takes a while. I'm thinking about taking the ties, weaving a chain through, and then doing resin or my jewelry glue and putting the end of the ties, the end of the yarn that you tie, gluing those into 2 coyote fangs, canines, so that when you tie his cape on, he's got 2 coyote fangs hanging down. I know I'm very pleased with myself about that. This is the face that my little great niece makes when she's very proud of herself. So, which looks exactly like that too. That's how I feel when I say things like that. Very proud of myself. But I come up with that on my own. Can you imagine? That's what I'm going to do. I'm pretty sure, like, if I have the patience for glue, that's what I'm going to do. I hated diagramming sentences. But prepositional phrases. Any way a snake can crawl to a log. The man that told me that, I'd kiss him full on the mouth right now because that helped me so much. We do know how to communicate. People really get my colorful statements. And it takes them, by the time they figure out I've said something really mean, they've had to wrap their brain through it a few times, and then they get tickled, so they can't be mad at me. Very rarely are they mad at me. But if you heard my story about the insurance company the other day, I pity the time you had to spend on the phone with anybody because no, nobody has a brain anymore. Don't worry that you didn't finish your psych degree because all I learned after I finished mine is that you can't really be helpful because any way that they've learned to be useful with psychology, they've then learned how to manipulate it to not be useful. It's a catch-22. It kind of really put a wah-wah on my whole career choice. We are a family. Oh no, brown cow. The rain in Spain stays mainly on the plain. I think he's adorable. You know, Biscuit's beard goes up closer on the sides. And I like his little tortoiseshell glasses. But I've got to do his other shoe. I always put loud ties. I just like it. But I've got to do his other shoe in his bag, put his fiddle in his bag, and his cape. Sabrina's kind of set the bar a little high, but I do like the way they look, so I want to keep making them that detailed. He's cute, isn't he? My twin grandbabies made me have to pick it back up and add skills, and now I haven't stopped. And I make people giggle. So it's all worth it. Sometimes I overtax myself, and I promise too much. And I'm getting better. Like, I have a list of people that want stuff, but I've also told them you're just going to have to be timed in where I can time you in at this point. So I've got to finish Susie Cow for Dory. Just keep swimming. That's how I remember her name. And after that, I've got a few dolls to do as I straggle through. But I'm basically, for the next 12 days after I finish this guy, I'm on possum patrol because I don't have enough of the smaller possums for people to purchase. All I've got is like big stuff. And David's like, I need small possums. And I was like, okay. So, but it is kind of nice because a possum, I can make a possum in an hour and a half. It takes 20 plus hours, sometimes 25 for these dolls. So bring on the possums. I will feel terribly accomplished with a possum. Yes, please. I'm okay with that. I've got to go make me a new 40-ounce drink. I've been doing lime mixed with, it's the new Walmart. Is it Flavor Aid? It's like fairy dust, marshmallow, something other. No, it's the Hawaiian Punch. It's the little guy with the antlers. One of them is marshmallow something, and it really does taste like marshmallow. But I like to cut them with a lime flavor, it's from the Weilers. So I make concoctions, let me tell you. David never sips my water because he's like, I'm afraid. As he should be. I'm fixing to go crash, though. It's 7. I'm going to say it's my bedtime. I have done much better today. Like, I have been a little turd. So I know I feel better. Like, I've had moments where I've been like, so I know I feel better. But I still think I could benefit from a couple of days of Rife treatments. So I may pack a bag and go visit my mama. I really need to. I've been trying to go visit her for a few weeks now, and my health will not comply. So, some time and sit under the Rife machine and visit mama. I'm going to take some of my green beans so she can see how long my green beans are. They're giant. And I'm probably going to disappear for a few days this week. I apologize in advance, but I do have some things recorded that I might be able to edit and do like a video format on. I'll have to go on my iPad to see. If I can patch it together, I will. But otherwise, I'm going to possum patrol under the Rife machine and visit with Mom. I also have some raccoon hide hats that I need to hem, and I'm going to do it on her industrial machine rather than by hand because, ow, and my hands are already falling apart. So, ow, we're going to make that not painful. So that's my plan. I know I'm just such a busybody. I don't have a tub anymore because we had to get me like a handicap shower because I'm there with my disorder. It's lovely. And as soon as I got a handicap shower, I fell. Busted my behind. It's the one I didn't break my hip. I turned a green gray that I'd never turned before. It's kind of interesting. But I always use like the soaps and stuff that have the salts and stuff in them. They're a little pricey, but they're worth it. And then I have some oils and stuff that I use afterwards. But I miss my tub. Now, I still do like foot soaks and stuff like that. Obviously, that's super important. But I miss my tub. It was a deep soaker tub. It was big. My sinuses hurt. Did y'all pick up on that? My sinuses hurt. It's just the weather. We're in a barometric ridgeline for my backspin right at the moment. And it hurts me. And it's just what it is. But I'm starting to deflate, so that's good. But tomorrow, if I wake up and I paint my eyebrows on and they both are at the same spot, I'll know that my muscles are chilled out. Because I was so swollen and then my muscles were so tight that I literally did look no good. I looked like I was like very surprised or suspenseful. And I was like, I can't wear these all day. No, thank you. And I thought if I put on makeup, I would feel better. That was a lie. Thought if I put on a dress, I'd feel better. That was a lie. So here I am in my Tom McDonald t-shirt and my bun, and I feel fine now. You know what made me feel the best in the world? A coconut popsicle. I'm not even gonna lie. I have bribed myself to do so much today for a coconut popsicle. Do not discredit the power of bribery. It works. I bribed myself a lot today just for a coconut popsicle. My body. Not even gonna lie. I thought, hey, it worked on that horse, it would work on me. I use Amish remedies. I use an Amish muscle tonic. It works pretty good. I've used honestly, my whole apothecary cabinet has been empty the last 2 weeks, and I've been just going through stuff because I've had a really bad just time of it. I didn't really realize I was a flare until I started to have the after symptoms, and I just thought I jacked my back up. And then I started realizing my lymph nodes were swollen, and had a lot of fluid. I was pushing a lot of fluid off, and started to have some of the after effects of the flare. And I was like, I've been flipping flare, and what it was I hadn't jacked my back up. I think my rib had been again. And David had been telling me that for a few days. I think your rib's been again. Because I would have to have him put my patches on my back. I couldn't reach. I was in that much pain. And he would try to feel. And he was like, your rib's bent. And for some reason, my bottom ribs, those intercostal muscles, like to pull. And they will bend my ribs. And Then it flares up my sciatica, and then I move for like 5 days. And that feels like what I went through. But I initially just thought I had like twinged my back. But I've also noticed that where my flares kind of melt together now, I don't always pick up when I'm in a bad one because this is sad to say, it's bad to say. Yeah, I'm so used to really uncomfortable days. So, and then I have to get through a few of them to realize I have to get really weak to go, oh yeah, I'm battling something really bad. I need to pay attention. Hey, castor oil. I would bathe in that crap. If they would let me, I would literally just have a castor oil bath in the backyard and keep a lid on it and just dunk myself. I know when I was going into surgery one time, the doctor was a really good Christian man, and he looked at me before they wheeled me into surgery, and he goes, Elizabeth, would you like for me to anoint you and pray? And I said, forget about the finger dot. I said, roll me in some Crisco. I need all the help I can get. And he just shook his head and rolled me into surgery. And the anesthesiologist, like, I've given her nothing. And the doctor, his name was Dr. Peregrine. He goes, no, sadly, this is just her. And I was like, sadly? He went in to take my uterus and found that my appendix was ruptured. No, he went in to take my ovaries. My uterus came out. A year later, my ovaries came out. And when he went in to take my ovaries, found out that my appendix was ruptured. And he goes, when did you do that? And I said, I have no idea. I said, I've just been sick for like 8 months. He goes, oh my God. I'm like, he said, the only reason you're not dead is my ovaries were so swollen that it was keeping it seeping instead of purging. And I was like, I knew I didn't feel good, but I was still driving 3 hours on top of a 9-hour workday, if not more. I use a lot of mullein for respiratory crap. Mullein really works well for me. I use a lot, and I'll cut it sometimes with like a lemon tea. I'll make a mullein tea, and I'll cut it with lemon tea. But that syrup I made one year, that cough syrup, mullein cough, it was really good. It worked really good. Kim gets better relief if she dries the leaves and smokes the leaves, but I get a better kick out of the teas or the syrups. Yeah, I know them ribs hurt when and like, I know the first time we found out how bad my body wanted to do this, the ER doctor that, like, I told him how bad I was hurting, he was like, I think he thought I was lying. Like, I don't mention pain a lot, but when I'm in a flare and I grab you and I'm like, I'm dying, I'm probably hurting. And then the films come back and he was like, holy heck, your ribs are bent. And he's like, I don't know how it's not cracked. And he's like, what's going on? And I was like, I done told you about my disorder. And so then he believed me and he was invested. And that was an event. Because the doctors, this is so rare, the doctors don't know about it. So I have to go there, go through all the crap to educate them. And then I get billed after I've educated them. It really pisses me off. Like, I should be able to get billed. I mean, I should be able to bill for, like, the education. Keep fighting, Christy. Keep fighting. Don't let them, they try to make everybody say forget it. My thing is I'm so rural that I have to drive so long to use my degree. And there's really no jobs in this podunk town. I really do have to drive a 3-hour loop to work. And I didn't mind to do that. It was healthy because I was really passionate about the areas I worked in. But now, like, I have, it mimics MS. So I do really well for maybe a very irritating. And I kept trying to work. But everybody that had ever worked me had just this high regard of how much I accomplished as a worker because I was always a very competent employee. Like, trained in every aspect, could do any part of the job, and was high functioning. But as my health got worse, I had to become a normal employee, which should have been okay because I was matching the other employees, right? No. I was an overachiever. I should always overachieve. And so they became very disgruntled when I was just an average employee, which peeved me off because I'd worked my butt off for how long. And it was very frustrating to have people yell at you when you were still doing a 99 percentile job, but they were used to you functioning at 385. It was frustrating. And I stretched on trying to work, and then I did some counseling And they kept trying to add clinical hours to me, add. And I was like, you hired me for 27 hours of a group. I had like 13 in the group. So times that up, that's how many clinical hours I was supposed to do in a week. Then they had me on 7 days a week. And I was like, I can't do, you hired me and I told you I couldn't stop scheduling me. And he got frustrated with me, and I said, I agreed to do the juvenile 3 times a week group. I did not agree to anything else. I said, you've just scheduled me, and I've tried to help you because you're a growing business. I said, you knew I could not do these hours when you hired me. I was part-time. And he got very upset with me and decided we were not a good match anymore. And I thought, you dingbat. But I was at the end. My doctor's telling me he's like, you're gonna kill yourself if you keep trying to work. So I stopped. Ooh, it thundered. It either thundered or my neighbor's trying to start a 4-wheeler. It was a 4-wheeler. Edit, go back. It was a 4-wheeler. It wasn't thunder. It did not run very long. Oops. He has a problem. So anyway, I really, because of Python, I really worked too long, and I really overdid my body, and my doctors were really mad at me. And about there at the end, about every 6 weeks, I was doing a 3 to 4 day hospital stay because my body would get so bad. My doctor team was yelling at me, so I had to stop. I was going to run myself into the ground. And I don't know the word quit. I do now. I had to become acquainted, but I used to not. And don't you love the way I talk? Over the years, I have really lost my professional curve that I have. I just don't care for it anymore. I don't need it. I don't want to use it, and I'm kind of sick of it. So I've gone back to Podunk Liz. I've got some adhesions in my abdomen. Let me tell you what, them little suckers will fight you, won't they? It's like an alien in your belly sometimes. Just like, what's going on? Oh, it's surgical adhesions. Well, tell it to freaking stop. Does it have a brain? I mean, they do things that they're not supposed to do. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, the doctor really thought my ribs were going to break that night. I was like, you want to listen. What wouldn't be the first thing that has, freaked the doctors out that my body has done. I have a shirt that says, then we laugh about it later. You see, I'm doing a lymph massage right now. I'm trying to get my fluid to go. Charlie, you need a massage. I need a massage too. Let's get in line. I had a deep tissue massage. Now, it hurts me, but the benefits outlast the hurt. Like, I will hurt the next day, like somebody like beat me with a baseball bat, but then the benefits last for like a week and a half. So it's worth it. But man, it hurts the day after. Sometimes it'll put me in a flare, but then the benefits last, and I'm like, okay, that was not that bad. I really would have to go more often, probably to get really used to it, but I have to drive an hour and a half to get a freaking. I have the lymph, and the little ones that even split and go up here. I have every roller known to man. I'm pretty sure if somebody went in my bedroom and didn't know what they were, they would think I was a very playful person, and I'm not. Maybe that is what I need, Chelsea. But the only ones that I really had the long-lasting positive effects from the massages are the deep tissue. I've had a couple just like little ones, and they didn't really help. But I may have just been in a health place where I couldn't feel the effects. But now the deep tissue, it did hurt. But then I felt much better for about a week and a half. Like it kind of, and here's the thing. When I'm in flare, if I get a tattoo, it kind of confuses my nerves. So if I'm hurting and I get a tattoo, my nerves kind of go, wait, what? And they stop. They stop fussing. Which may be why I'm a big inked fat girl. But I have another tattoo scheduled for the 18th of August. because if y'all know, I have a 4th grandbaby now, so we have to add a new name. I'm running out of space. Children, stop procreating. No, I'm just kidding. I love all my grandbabies. I am running out of space in my arm, though, so we're going to have to switch to another one if we keep having grandbabies. Just saying. But I'm going to have my arm finished. And I was like, I called and I was like, could you move my appointment up? Do you have anybody that's, canceled? Because I know if I go in a flare and I get a tattoo, that irritation will make my nerves go, what? They'll stop bothering me in other places. And it's kind of useful. And I know it will happen. So I have a really awesome local tattoo person now. And I was like, if somebody cancels, you just yell at me and I'll be there in 5. Because I know it will make my nerves go, huh? And they'll stop aggravating me so much to focus just on the one spot, which is going to hurt anyway because it's a new tattoo. Okay. And I totally have tried to trick my nervous system and beg to get in on any of the first cancellations. Chelsea, did you get booted? I'm covered in tats. People, they hear me and then they see me and they're like, what? There's a disconnect. But I'm very comfortable ink because I was a pro lobster for a very long time. So I'm very comfortable with ink. But all of mine is like music. It's like what has occurred in my life and my music. And then I have a bird for everybody that passed away on my caseload when I was an officer. Because everybody matters. And I wanted to remember those people because they were struggling with something. Well, you have to be careful. You have to know your tattoo person. You have to know the ink that they use and the machinery they use. And that's why I've only had, this is only the 3rd person to ever tattoo me. I had one tattoo guy for a whole solid decade. He got pancreatic cancer and passed away. And for 7 years, I did not have a tattoo until my grandbabies were here, and I wanted their names on my arm. But I have to know the ink you use because I want to research, what is in it, and I want to know the kind of machinery you use. So I'm kind of one of those probably problem clients, but because the people here that are the tattoo artists, I know through the music community and my friends, I do the weird jewelry. She likes to take my weird jewelry to the weird tattoo things that she goes to. So we know each other really well. And so I've got to ask all those questions. But I would say, don't go to just anybody for a tattoo. Do your research, know what they're putting in your body, pay attention. You should anyway. But some people, I don't know. I guess they think it's I don't know, crayon on your shit. It's not, people. You have to take care of it, and you have to be knowledgeable about what they're doing to you. If I touch my screen to scroll my messages, it messes it up too. And I try not to touch it, but sometimes my messages do not scroll on their own. I've been really picky about my tattoo people, but I also like stencil. I like a prison tattoo look. Listen, I am who I am. It's weird. So I like the grittier looking tattoos, which kind of drives some people mad because they want to put a girly filigree. And I'm like, no, sir, that's not me. But we're going to do some more shading and put my last grandbaby's name on and try to finish out because my other guy passed away before we got to do my upper shading right through here. So we're going to finish that out and put my newest grandbaby's name in there. And honestly, if somebody cancels it, and I'm all about trickery if it's me doing it, so my nervous system can suck it. That's where I'm at right now. I was so fortunate with my tattoo guy that I had for a decade. He was he was such a sweet guy. I take the kids when I went. The kids called him Uncle. We just knew him that long. He would stop and play guitar with my son. And he did music work, and he did some bass lines and some bass soundtracks in studio. And so he'd practice on Zoom with certain bands, and then he'd go into the studio and lay down the bass tracks. And so we got to also be there for some of his rehearsals with some pretty big bands. And my son was pretty freaked out about that. That was really nice. So I miss him a lot. He was he's a terribly sweet man. Terribly sweet. Good as gold. Wasn't, Wasn't many men made like him, bless his heart. I miss him a lot. I really didn't think I'd ever get another one, but then the grandbabies happened, and I was like, no, 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 no. Yeah, my kids went with me for most of mine. I've been very honest with them. Of course, being the job I had to be honest with a lot of things about them. And we had to have passwords for pickup, safety protocols for public events, just because of the people I had to deal with in my world. But I was always terribly honest with them. But the only time like I had one almost faint, my son went with me one time when I got like injections in my knee. I was used to it. They don't even numb you. They just go in with a few needles in like 4 places, and they all push at the same time to flush the joint and add the medicine. And he got a little pale over the corner, and they had to make him sit down. And I was like, "Are you okay?" I did some probation. I did mostly parole. I did mostly parole and interstate compact, and then I did a lot of the violent reports for the pre-sentence investigations for like the murders and stuff. And I supervised sex offenders for a while too, until they separated it completely out. But I still would help in that realm. I did every level of supervision, but mostly parole and interstate compact. I've never watched it. I never have watched it. I don't watch a lot of Ted. I don't. I have to want to watch it. I have to find it and want to watch it. Do I need to watch it? Should I watch it? Oh, have message. Yeah, stuff like that. It hits you a little different. I've had to have conversations with people I never thought I'd have to have. But I compartmentalize probably terribly too well. I should probably be concerned, but I've gotten through it somehow. So, and I'm still fairly normal. Fairly normal. I don't know. I do know that I'm extremely tired now. My chicken's done. I'm gonna leave it in the oven to stay warm because David's, when he's done whatever he's doing at the farm, he's gonna come back and probably eat some, and then he can put it up. I'm gonna go to bed because my body's going, hey lady. So I'm gonna go do my bedtime routine and crash. I might squeeze in one more coconut popsicle before bed, just because I have done a lot today. Bribery. And they're fruit, so they're really good for you. So, but I've accomplished a lot today. I'm just really sore. I feel really stove up. I feel like I have been in a fender bender. My whole body's just like shock after, a full muscle clench or something, So I know I'm almost to the end of the flare, but holy crap, I'm over it. It can stop. But I'm back to wanting to get to do stuff. I just need now to get my energy built back up. But I really think I'm going to deviate to the farm for some rough days. So if you miss me and don't see me for, a clump of time, I'm visiting mom doing rough. I do have some stuff on my iPad that I can probably patch together for videos. But we'll have to see how invested I am at that moment. Watch the original. Okay. Y'all have a good night. I'm glad Sabrina jumped in with us. It's nice to see her. She's been on the road so much this summer. Everybody loved this show. Now I'm going to have to watch it. Okay, I'll watch it. I'll try it. Won't commit to the whole thing. I'll try. Watermelon. That's what that is, Margaret. I'm so blind I couldn't see what it was. It's National Watermelon Day. I did not have one. They make David's, they're bad for diabetics, so. Did I ever remind you that I don't get to eat anything really good? I keep my coconut popsicles in the back fridge. That's the one thing I refuse to give up. He's losing weight just fine. I'm not. but it's my thyroid medicine. I'd say she likes to teach. I'd say she'll probably make another swing through at some point. Well, Margaret, enjoy your watermelon. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for spending time with me. And pray I get the cape and the shoe and the bag done. I can't. I'm just going to sit still and do it. I did quite a bit today. I'm just pacing myself because I'm trying to toddle about and walk and do some stuff because I need to move now that I can. So we'll get back to going. I'm just terribly sore. After the soreness leaves, I feel a whole lot better. So appreciations. Thank you. Any and all prayers are great. Keep Gypsy any prayers. Ashley and her family still any prayers. There's a lady called Adriana that asked me for prayers back a few weeks, and I haven't seen her since, but I still think about her and toss up good energy, so maybe she's doing okay. But we are a family, so if you ever need something and you need to have a special request or something, Telegram, if you're in any of the Telegrams, most of the families over there too, in the Booma or the Synergist Telegrams. And then you can always leave a comment on like any of my videos. If I see it, I'll respond to it. And I normally do see it. I normally get a notification. So everybody have a great evening. I'm going to officially tag out and say I'm done for the night. Eat a popsicle. Brush my teeth and go to bed. That's about all I'm going to do. I'll see y'all when I feel better or when Biscuits is done. So y'all have a good evening. Register on Telegram and get in the Booma community. Big bang for the buck. Great people. You'll love it. And then you can talk to Firewall about the Senators community. It's worth it. Absolutely worth it. I'm shutting up now. Love you guys. Bye.